Good evening and welcome to tonight's NGS cast of the Nexus Division. We have Gen.M Esports versus Small Potatoes. I am your caster Linebus, and I'd like to welcome one and all who decide to watch it live, such as our wonderful Majesty 007 here, or watch it in, well, a recorded form later. Anyway, we do see that Gen.M Esports did ban out the for Sky Industries and Braxis Holdout, while Small Potatoes banned. Sometimes I just forget map names, I'm sorry. Sky Temple and Battlefield of Eternity. And that leads us first to an Infernal Shrines. Right, let's not mess around too long as I am tired already. We are going to get straight into the game. If I push the right buttons, I nearly didn't. But now I will. Right. Excellent, I did it right. On the left-hand side of Gen.M Esports, we have Tax 1K. On the Garrosh, Infafox on Chromie. Yoners on... Oh gosh, Tracer. I just fizzed on Dahaka and Patience on the Deckard. On the right-hand side, we have Shenmeister on the Kael'thas. Shimplothers on Hogger. Tone Phone on the... I can't remember Anduin's name. I just remembered Anduin's name. On Anduin. Exerted on the Vala. And that will leave... Shenmeister. Wait. Who haven't I said? Lucid on the Joanna. Sorry about that. Right, we're just going to probably get the normal posturing at the beginning of the game. See if who can get the wave clear advantages. Nexus Division is actually one of the high divisions in NGS. We should be seeing probably very good gameplay from both sides. I say probably as there is no guarantee, as I've found out on numerous occasions. Yona's getting very low there, almost goes downhill. That will be the first wave going over to the side of... Oh, except we're going to have quite an aggressive rotation from Tax 1K as Shenmeister does have to back out. If that mighty throw did hit the Kael'thas, that may have been going down. And we do see here that the enemy team... I see red and think enemy team. No. The team of Small Potatoes has been split by the team of Gen.M Esports. Right. For anyone who prefers listening, I'll quickly read out some level 1 questing talents for you all. We have Anduin going down actually in mid. I missed that entirely. I am sorry. Anyway, Garrosh went Warbreaker. Probably the only quest to be of note there. As well as on the right hand side we see Kael'thas going. Actually that is Lucid thrown in by the Garrosh, taking a lot of health, a lot of damage, and that will be them going down. Did manage to dodge the Deckard route, however did not dodge the damage. And that is a second kill going over to the side of Gen.M. To quickly list off talents before anyone else dies, we have Kael'thas, Stacking Mana Addict, Vala with that, Puncturing Arrow, and Joanna with Laws of Hope. I like this. We do know that Joanna has just come off respawn, so... Oh no, the names already started, the forgetting of the names. Gen.M Esports know they can take this ground aggressively, and there is not much that Small Potatoes can do at this current point in time, especially considering that Garrosh combo, well, at least the Garrosh pick has been getting the picks. I've never claimed to be good at my words, but I'm certainly going to try. Anyway, we do see that we're nearly at the 230 mark, so objective will be called soon. Exerted has to use roll, however, does not have the movement to get out, and that Garrosh throw will lead to a third kill. Very good start from the side of Gen.M. Very terrifying, threatening. There's a lot going on already, considering this Garrosh. Garrosh has a hard time kind of engaging in a lot of instances, as he just has his only really option is to mount, walk at someone, or just walk at someone, but it's still been working out so far, and we'll see how it works out now objectives are coming around, as people have to move on to the shrines, and I do not recall if the shrine skeletons can be thrown. If I recall correctly, I don't think they can. Let's move up here. Tax 1K is alone for now, and actually just chooses to play it safe back out, as no one really wants to get thrown over the wall. And we do see that Small Potatoes does move on to this objective first. They have very good objective clear the more I look at it, actually. I do think this team is built a bit more for this objective, as we see Hoggett trying to infinite, but not quite being able to get that infinite around the objective. I've zoomed in too far. Tex 1K moving in, looking to throw Lucid. Lucid does have to pop the Iron Skin, so will not be thrown. I Just Fizz gets a tongue onto the Joanna. Joanna doesn't really get anything taken out from them there. Keep most of her health. Jonas goes down actually to the spinning hogger, and that will be the first kill over for Small Potatoes. However, we do see level 7s now online for Gen.M Esports. They will have to back out, however, and we see that there's only 3 minions left on the shrine, and that will be the first shrine of the Mortar Punisher going over to Small Potatoes. Quickly going to pull up some talents just so people can see if they want to see anything. The only thing to note is Anduin is stacking Inner Light. Not Inner Light, Piercing Light. My bad. Tax 1K taking a lot of damage to start out. Keep poked down a lot. Lucid gets thrown out. Still gets the stun onto the Condemn onto Tax 1K. And then we Tax 1K getting jumped yet again. As we did see they went Indomitable. But it wasn't quite back on cooldown. And there we see Slowing Sands. Excellent zone control. Okay. And now we just see the red team of Small Potatoes backing off as they don't really want to get thrown by the Chaos Skin. I'm going to mute myself when I go to sneeze. Sorry. I didn't sneeze a mic, so we are good. You are welcome for not having your eardrums blowing out, so to speak. Inner Fox being moved in on by Lucid. However, Lucid was alone there. There wasn't really any damage to follow up, so nothing down for that. Tex 1K does dodge the Chastise, I believe it's called. There's a good double slam by Tex 1K as they're getting very close to that wall break now. Only 2 stacks off completing it. Excellent pull by Exerted, by Tonephone on Exerted, as that would have been the Vala going down. However, Kalephis will go down instead to that Groundbreaker and the Tracer. This is quite a painful opening actually for... Oh, and there we see the Groundbreaker Wallbreaker was completed in under 6 minutes. I'm not a good Garrosh. I do not complete Wallbreaker very often. So... this is a good Garrosh, but as I said, this is Nexus Division. These are people who are very good at, well, yeah, very good at the game. At least much better than a lot of the other divisions. We do see Decimate picked up, and we'll actually have a brief look at those 10s as we do see them coming through for at least Gen.M, and we'll be soon through for Small Potatoes. We see the Slowing Sands as said. I believe that is, I can check. Yep, no, Sticky Bomb. I'm not stun, so I'm just, yep, okay. Decimate Garrosh, Isolation Dahaka, and Stay a While and Listen Decade. And we now see a 5v4 coming out. However, Tracer will go down first. I Just Fizz gets the tongue onto the Kalephis, so there's Kalephis following second. Lucid is also getting very low, gets pulled by the Anduin Exerted, does step up a bit too much, gets hit by the Isolation and will go down to the Chromie. That is a double kill for Chromie and trade. And all a very good trade for Gen.M, as that was a 2-for-1. Chimp Loafers does have to back out. They did take a decent amount. They nearly took out Tax 1K. I keep wanting to call it Tax 6. I don't know. But Chimp Loafers did also lose a lot of health there. Anduin chose to Desperate Prayer in the wrong place, and that will be a tongue into a kill confirm by Dahaka and the rest of Gen.M. This is not looking very good to start off with. Shenmeister gets very low there. Good hits by Infafox. I believe it's Infafox. Names are hard. I will always say that. Names are very hard. We do see this Bruiser camp being taken by the side of Gen.M Esports. Very good timing of that. We did have throughout that fight actually this top Bruiser camp from the side of Small Potatoes was pushing and actually got a reasonable amount of value in that top lane. Right, and to quickly rattle off the side of Small Potatoes, we do have Hortapult, Phoenix, Light Bomb, Verena Vengeance, and Blessed Shield. Good stun by the Kalephis, peeling for his team, and that is a tongue throw, and that will actually not be Kalephis going down as they were able to get out. There's Isolation who goes out onto the Vala. Vala gets the Light Bomb on them, that shield keeping him alive, and actually will be Garrosh going down first. I Just Fizz now very out of position, will go down second. And we'll have to see the back line, the squishies back out from the side of Gen.M for Fox stayed in a bit too long. Excellent ice block, timeout I should say, keeps him alive. And actually Vala is found by that Chromie's Qs. Yona's also got very low there, but that is a reasonable amount of the damage down on the side of Small Potatoes. And Garrosh has just respawned, so this is more or less even for the moment. Dahaka is now alive. This is now a 4v4 is made as I Just Fizz does burrow into the brush stalk, I should say, into the back line. And we do now have a 5v4 on this objective, and it will go over to the side of Gen.M Esports. So that is the second Punisher of the Frozen. The special of the Frozen here being is able to turn off structures. So this building isn't necessarily safe. Joe takes the early leap, does pop Iron Skin, so they do not go down to it. All in all, very smart thinking, very good play. We do actually have 13 advantage, and even 14 thanks to Chromie over to the advantage over the side of Gen.M Esports. However, Infofox is getting very low, is able to barely get out. That was a brave place to throw the Joanna, as your Chromie was along the back line. However, Trax 1K does get the throw, and the kill is confirmed by the rest of Gen.M. We are noticing a pattern with this gameplay. However, it is paying off, and it is working out very well for Gen.M, who have decided to back off the Punisher as it was very low, and take Small Potatoes Bruiser Camp. Not Bruiser Camp, Siege Camp. I'm sorry. Once again. Getting some safe plays now. I'm just going to quickly bring up some stats while we are in this kind of downtime, just camping and taking and sieging and soaking. We do see at the moment, Joanna has taken quite a lot of damage compared to the enemy tank of Tax 1K on Garrosh, but Garrosh doesn't take much damage all in all thanks to his armor trait, that below his health, the greater the armor. So the greater the armor, the less damage they're taking, so not necessarily the most indicative number of how much damage they're taking. It could almost be in the mid-30s to 40k as well. Pretty comparable to the Joanna as just how Garrosh mitigates his damage. Shimplofus is now caught alone. Is choosing to stay in. Very brave choice, and they do use Hortapult to get out. That's an excellent time stop by Chromie, hitting free of the side of Small Potatoes. Light Bomb gets out, hit stuns also free. There's a lot of damage coming out, and actually there's Chromie going down first. Garrosh does have to drop. Does choose to pop Unstoppable, but will not go down. And that was a good fight for the side of Small Potatoes. However, we will see 16s come online for Gen.M in just a second. And there it is, as I will quickly throw over to this so you can see what is happening in terms of talents. We have Bullet Spray from Tracer, gives her Wave Clear. We do actually see a fight breaking out up here as I just quickly move the camera back up. Tax 1K taking a little bit of damage. Isn't in a very good position to get a throw on anyone, however, due to that Bruiser Camp. Trax 1K very much wants that throw, wants the damage, wants the kill. I Just Fizz comes out, gets the tongue onto Exerted. Exerted, however, is pulled out by Tone Phone, and that is actually the side of Gen.M Esports taking a lot of damage here. Friendly throw coming out on I Just Fizz, keeping them alive. Yona's being very greedy, eating the potions that Tax 1K probably could have eaten drunk, could have used, and that will be them going down. Excellent. Phoenix coming out. We do see the disengage now from the side of Gen.M. And this will very likely be the fort over to the side of Small Potatoes. I need to figure out more ways to say that, so just go over to the side of, like, Gen.M takes blank building, or Small Potatoes crushes the fort, or something like that. I do not know. However, we do see this shrine activating in just a moment. Garrosh will be up in time to get at least here to contest it. Maybe after a little bit, but will be here to contest it. However, we do see a split push happening bottom as Yonas and I Just Fizz looks like they want their building. I Just Fizz does have Rush Talker up very soon, so we'll be able to come up to the objective when it's needed. However, is choosing to get a bit more siege up until the time of Gen.M pushing into the objective, I assume. We're starting to get pings about going in. That was directly from the bottom, so this line here, so we know that it was the Dahaka. Only 15 have been taken so far. That is a groundbreaker onto the Exerted. Eventually might have thrown in, pulled out, slammed again. That is another Decimate. Garrosh is actually taking a lot of damage here. I just Fizz trying their best to stay alive as well. He has to pop a trait and burrow to keep it up. Tex 1k misses it. I just Fizz takes a lot of damage, and that'll be them going down first to both the Chain Loafers and Exerted on the Hogger and Vala respectively. Lucid is just continuing the objective while this is happening, but we do see now that there is the advantage over to Small Potatoes as they do have more people alive, and actually the levels at least are even for the moment, something that hasn't been like that since about level 3-4. I do like the score from Gen.M for a moment, choosing to get value elsewhere, and we do actually see Chromie now get her Storm talent, and if, for people who don't know, Chromie gets her talents across the board 2 levels early, so their level 18 is everyone else's 20, and we see Piercing Sands a very common choice, as just it's a lot of extra damage if things like the Shrine Skeletons or whatever they're called cannot stop the sand. We'll close this for a moment, sorry if that's been taking up screen space. Decker does get jumped, however Decker does have that extra armor from being close to... Does he? Yep, does have that extra armor and extra cooldown reduction from being near someone, so not the most damage coming out onto him. The Punisher is about to jump again, it'll be interesting to see who it jumps. Chromie does get jumped, taking a lot of damage from that Punisher, leading it away from the allied team of Gen.M Esports. We are seeing a lot of damage actually come out. Patience and I just fizzed all very low. We're assuming we've got a lot of AoE damage on the side of Small Potatoes. Oh, Lucid! Very low, very close, however it does stay alive. So the Chaos Living Bombs as well as the Vala Ws have been causing actually a lot of damage to the side of Gen.M. As we just see that, oh, AoE damage, AoE damage, AoE damage, AoE damage slash CC, AoE CC slash damage. There was a lot of AoE, the very good zone control on the side of Small Potatoes, which actually is very good for this map, as these objectives are essentially small areas you want to control, and while Gen.M Esports does better in a regular, short, quick fight, if they don't get that original pick, it is much harder for them to carry on that fight just because of how Garrosh has his throw and his CC and how Deckard needs time to set up. Okay, Deckard does fix that problem a little bit with once he's set up. He's actually quite a good healer to have on the board. And I believe it looks like we have Ancient Blessings. If that's the wrong button, go me. Yep, Ancient Blessings, which is criminally underused, because especially with something like Tracer, a high auto attack hero, each auto attack, there's a bunch of auto attacks in Tracer. However, Ancient Blessings means that each auto attack does an extra 131 damage. So on Tracer, that adds up very quickly, as Tracer only has, I can remember buttons, 20 shots, all at 50 damage per second. You are essentially quadrupling her damage? Yeah, quadrupling her damage. Tripling to quadrupling her damage for each shot. And that adds up very, very quickly, especially in a team fight. However, I just can't get past the fact of Small Potatoes does have very good zone control. However, we do see... Oh, no, I've got to remember how to do this now. Nope. Yes. Nope. Yes. Nope. Nope. Yes. Yes. No. Yes. Yes. Yes, I remember how. Can only proc once a set. Do I just not know how Deckard works is what I'm really finding out. I don't know how Deckard works is what I'm finding out. Thank you for correcting me on my assumption on something I just didn't know much about. Thank you, Majesty. Even then, it's still a reasonable amount of damage between all these heroes. This is stepping up alone from your team. This is not a good position for Joanna. Doesn't pop Iron Skin, gets thrown stunned. However, does have Iron Skin still up and is able to get out relatively safely. A little bit of a B step just to show you almost had me, but not quite. Or at least that I knew I was safe here, something along those lines. However, it does, well, back out pretty safely. We do see Dahaka did not borrow half there, so we are getting a full talent, health, and mana reset for both sides. I'm going to pull up the talents, just quickly show them very quick. I'm not going to say them out, as we do have a fight breaking out very soon. That is an early lead from the side of Small Potatoes. However, this still could be anyone's game. Thank you to the Chromie's Piercing Sands, now very much adding up extra damage and getting through those minions. We do see going down at the top was a Tracer. Tracer did have to recall. Still taking a lot of damage backing out further and further. That is the no control, I believe, from Hogger. Hogger taking a decent amount of damage through that and will be first to go down. Yonas and Inner Fox getting very low actually. And Chromie stepped up quite high, all considering. Does have to pop for timeout. That's Exerter going down to Haka as Tex 1K is also spinning to winning. That will be Anduin going down next. Lucid was also getting very. Shinmeister goes down to Pulse Bomb. And Joanna is the last to fall. And that looks like it will be an end call from the side of Gen.M Esports as they're just pushing straight into this building immediately as death time is very long. Hog is the first one up with about 20 seconds, not 20 seconds fully, but a good 10 seconds before the next person respawns of the Vala. But it doesn't look like it's going to matter as that will be the, okay, if they clear it, yep, that will be the keep falling. And now core will be slowly auto down. Actually, not slowly, is going down quite fast. Hogger is still 10 seconds out, and that will be this core. And this game going over to the side of Gen.M Esports as GG is called. Excellent stuff from both sides, but the Garrosh pick comp just came out ahead slightly better than the zone control area of Small Potatoes. I am just forgetting names as well. Whew. Anyway, I'm just gonna quickly change it over to that game summary screen. I almost threw it to something completely wrong. So I'm gonna do this and then this. Hopefully everyone can see that. You're welcome. In terms of talents, we do see Kael'thas. Actually, both Kael'thas, Joanna, and Vala all got relatively stacked. However, it was just not quite enough. As sure that Mana Addict does add up quite a lot of health over time. It wasn't enough to survive basically the damage onslaught, especially in the end from the enemy team, because it isn't activatable, and if you get stunned and hit by Dahaka Tongue or Isolation, you can't use abilities anyway, so that is that kind of going out window. I will note, as I love healers, and we nearly got Piercing Light off. Otherwise, we do see a relatively maybe not standard array of talents, but for the heroes, these builds have all been commonly used at one time or another. Just to briefly look at talents, we see Decker did come out ahead on healing compared to the Anduin. Both were doing very well in my opinion. I definitely can't play it well, but I loved how both of them played within their team. However, the Decker did just provide a bit more value with his Dorito root and his cube slow. And as I was saying, we definitely had that more of a big style comp from the side of Gen.M Esports that paid off. The Chromie did still bring out a lot of extra damage for things such as objectives. They were able to take one of the mid game and one of the late game. Because of that, Piercing Sands was just really a fight that Gen.M comfortably took, and you could see it. However, I still have to talk about, I don't have to talk about it, but I do want to talk about Small Potatoes. They did very well when it came to those objective fights up until the end. They were pumping out the damage and were able to kind of control the area with things such as Kael'thas's Living Bomb. Right, I'm going to throw it to a very brief break, and I'll see people on the other side of it. Now, when I said brief, I did not know I meant quite that brief, as I'm getting more used to these menus as I've actually forgotten to show what map we're going to. However, it is slightly late. I'm going to throw it up anyway. I will say that it is Towers of Doom. Here, you can even see it on this nice little graphic here. Courtesy to Nexus Gaming Series. Thank you for all the kind of graphics you give newer casters to use, as it would have taken me a while to figure out anything even remotely close or as competent as this. But right, I shall cut into the gameplay now, actually, as the game starts in 10 seconds. On the left-hand side of sorry, wait. Left-hand side of Gen.M Esports, we have I Just Fizz back on the Haka. Tax 1K on the May. Infa Fox on Malfurion. Patience on the Ufa. And a hyper carry, Vala, is played by Yonas. Okay, I like it. I like it a lot. I'm just going to put this because I don't know how to close that still. Right, on the right-hand side, we have Lucid on the Anubarak. Chip Loafers back on the Spinny Boy himself, Hogger. Shinmeister on the Vala. Tone Phone on Right Wing and Exerted on the Large Lad. Large Dunk Boy. Big Dunk Boy. Esmedan. And we did actually, I should mention that. Anubarak got very low there, very concerning. But anyway, as I said before, we do see a hyper carry comp on the side of Gen.M. That Ufa to just sustain from the burst. Not sustain from the burst, survive the burst, and Infa Fox to survive the rest of the damage with that sustained healing. May is doing some split soak while this is happening, as Dahaka early on doesn't have a best double soak. Hogger a bit better. That is a stun out from Patience, and that is Lucid losing the health slowly. Patience, I should say. Ufa, I love Ufa, one of my favorite heroes. Ufa can act as a tank in a pinch. It's not always ideal, but into a tank such as an Uberak, if the Ufa knows what they're doing, it can be very frustrating, as I've at least seen in some divisions. And that will actually be the top camp going over to this side of Small Potatoes. May is hanging around this area, helping out the camp, making sure that Small Potatoes does not invade, and that will be the siege camp going over the side of Gen.M. And actually we have Gen.M pushing in here. The thing about double healer comps is they can take a lot of space that they want, and there's not too much that the enemy can do about it, as the sustain will get you through a lot of very early fights, as we did see happen in the mid. Okay, we do see talents actually coming through, however, for Small Potatoes first. We do see stun coming out. Sylvanas does have to use the Haunting Wave to get out. Black Arrows doing their best to keep the Pumpkin Sappers out, and that actually means only one was able to get the explosion off in the first volley, however all three came off in the second. Yona's just stacking that damage slowly but surely. We see 15 stacks on Vala so far. Maybe not the traditional hyper carry build of auto attack, but that W build will stack up in time as well. These are all very small close objectives. We do see a stun coming out to Infox, and Fox having to use a leaf on himself, not quite enough healing. However, Brightwing will go down. Should mention that Patience is still up, so a healer is still up on the side of Gen.M. Actually, that will be Vala going down. That is something you do not want to see fall. Patience going down there is fine. Ufa dying is almost ideal in a few situations, as that is as Ufa die, Ufa's really a healer when he's dead. Until then, he's just kind of an armor giver. A little bit of healing. When he's dead, he gives a lot of healing with that cooldown. That very short cooldown, and unkillable. We do see a ping coming out here from the Anubarak, I believe. Infofox getting very low yet again. The clumping from the team of Sorters does mean that there is a decent burst deal coming out from Infofox. However, now that we see Patience trying their best to keep Tax 1K alive, and Tax 1K will survive on less than 400 health, I believe, so low 300s. Tone Phone is now getting this objective over it. I don't think anyone can go on. Vala rolls in to get the W. May also gets her Blizzard on it. There's Tone Phone once again trying to get this objective. Hogger is now down, making this a 5v4 in favor of Small Potatoes, and no talent advantage on either side. As the equal Patience getting relatively low. Will not quite go down. That will be actually May going down first, and then Ufa. Not the order you want. If Ufa goes down first, then that's great, but not the May. Oh, Ufa, you're right, bud. Good tongue onto Sylvanas. Looked like it probably shouldn't have hit, but Shinmeister takes a lot of their health and damage. Jonas has to back out slightly. Hogger actually losing a lot of health, but gets out very safely in the end. Okay, we do see Small Potatoes is starting into this enemy comp very well so far. While we have a little bit of a downtime, I'm going to quickly show talents. We have 100 stacks on a traditional run it down Esmedan, very interesting. 35 stacks on Wave of Light Ufa, so that actual kind of main support build. Malfurion goes healing as well. Does not go for cleanse. Interesting. Meanwhile, we see Sylvanas with percent damage very much helps mitigate Ufa's effectiveness in some regards, as a lot of his healing is in his armor. Otherwise, we see better build an Uberak, and everything else seems relatively standard. I don't play Hogger enough to know what is the standard for him, however. Oh, and that was very unfortunate as Redan goes down top. You do have this fight continuing down in bottom lane. Lucid actually slowly taking damage, gets stunned once by the Ufa, does not have follow-up stun yet, as that is not until 16 he gets Forbidden Addiction, and he's not the auto-attack cooldown reduction quest. At least 2 of 3 sappers goes into that tower. We do have this push for happening still. There's an excellent root silence. Sorry, root into the sleep, into the stun. We have both Tone Phone and Lucid getting low. Lucid does have to back out on the Anubarak, having that bar up. However, Brightwing not quite as lucky as they don't have the Blink heal yet. Speaking of heroic talents, we do see heroics coming in for the side of... Oh, actually for both sides now. Okay, we're actually seeing a few things I wasn't expecting, but a lot of things that were. There's an Uberak going down first. Very unfortunate. Malfurion manages to take the top shrine and will continue their push. Icefall doesn't find anything. Malfurion now... Actually, no, it's Ufa from the bottom shrine. Shrine altar? Because these are bell towers. What are these called again? I can't recall. It is an altar. I'm going to put a mouse on you just so I can get that way. Right. To run over talents quickly, we see Twilight Dream on Malfurion, Strafe on Vala, Icewall on Mei, Isolation on Dahaka, and Divine Shield on Ufa. I was expecting a Divine Storm, but I have been proven wrong, but we do have that traditional Hyper Carry Vala that needs to be saved for max effectiveness. We heard Twilight Dream go out, however it was cancelled by the Wailing Arrow, so that will be Malfurion going down first. There's a lot of healing down. Patience will be next to go down because of that Shadow Dagger and all the damage coming out from the side of Small Potatoes. However, as I said, Ufa's now to top up these heroes very well and live. I should say now on the side of Small Potatoes, we did see that Wailing Arrow. We have a, not Siege Breaker, Demonic Invasion from Asmodan. That is a excellent Burrow stun combo onto the Mei, and Mei will go down next as Sylvanas uses Black Arrows to turn off that bottom left bell tower of Gen.M Esports. And then we see Cocoon, Webrak, Cocoon on the Nubarak, and finally Blink Heal on Brightwing. As we do see now that Small Potatoes is using the... Now realize that they have advantage and will be playing much more aggressive. As we do see this Siege Camp, Gen.M Esports side, Siege Camp being taken by Small Potatoes. As they do have this bottom lane, they want to try and get these sappers in. Lucid is the only one to go at the start. We do see, however, Sylvanas and Brightwing joining them, albeit via the safer route. Or route. I can't remember which one. I can't remember how people in North America say that word. I say route. I've heard people say routes. I've heard other people say route, so I'm unsure. They'll be in for Fox getting stunned, then a double stun onto both the Malfurion and the Sylvanas, and that is the mid tower, mid altar, channeled by the... can't remember his name. Anyway, we do see a Divine Shield. We actually see all the ults being thrown out of this bottom lane. We saw Twilight Dream, we saw Icefall, we saw Strafe, we saw Divine Shield, yet nothing was found for the side of Gen.M Esports. And actually we see Asmodan, his ult backups will probably be looking to Demonic Evasion again. So we only see that 13s have just come through now for the side of Gen.M, as that was probably a very needed talent, and maybe not yet. Very good defense here from Small Potatoes. For people who do not know, or people who just like doing their own thing, yep, there it is, Demonic Evasion. This bottom bell tower is probably... These two bottom bell towers are the most important of the bell towers on the map, because it controls the access to both this bottom shrine altar and the mid altar. So keeping this is a priority, so you see why there is such an aggressive defense from the side of not Gen.M, Small Potatoes. However, that is Sylvanas going to first. Tone Phone taking a lot of damage, does get that Blink Heal out onto the allied Exerted. However, that is Lucid being rooted and almost, and well, yes, taken out, but Patience almost also dies in that exchange. However, throughout that, we did see that middle bell tower going down, and that now is 6 bell towers for almost 7 bell towers. 5 bell towers. Sorry, for not Gen.M. Oh, my brain! For small potatoes, and only 1 bell tower is on the side of small potatoes. And this bell tower, however, will go down. Very good timing as this goes down to the side of small potatoes. If you do not know, if a team controls all 6 of these bell towers, there will be 1 shot going at a time up until a bell tower is flipped. Yeah, that sounds right. We have very dominant performance so far from the side of small potatoes. However, that one kind of awkward fight slash losing a few heroes there may prove costly in the long run. You see Hogger doing Hogger things. However, did he get the angle right? Yes, the angle was right. Anyway, while I've been doing this mighty fine camera work, 2 bell towers have been taken, which these 4 shots for 2 bell towers is not necessarily good, depending on momentum of the game, and that is not good momentum to put it lightly. Tax 1k does get the slide on Lucid. Lucid does have to use Burrow to get out. Twilight Dream cancelled once again. I think I was going to go use it. I thought I heard it, but was cancelled once again. Tax 1k and Patience both on half health, having to back out. I just Fizz did drop down. Actually, there still is another advantage over to the side of small potatoes. Lucid manages to get a little bit, does get a boop in on them, and that is the demonic invasion being dropped on this tower at the same time. Exerted taking damage that they probably shouldn't, as well. These are getting hit. Any damage done by even summons will go to will pop the fort onto the summoner, and that is actually a lot of damage coming out. We do see Dragon Sylvanas not quite into the death zone. Patience getting very low. Patience will go down. There is a healing buff for Ufa, but however that healing will not come out in time as the Haka is soon to follow. That is a lot of potential shots that's about to come in. I like getting this one early because this is probably one of the more dangerous ones to get because of this hidden area. However, we do see that they want to channel this, get over this mid bell tower for that 6 cap. However, very good by Vala, making sure it cannot occur. Bouncy Hogger. Hogger's still bouncing. Lucid very aggressive. We do see warning things coming out. I'm actually going to zoom in slightly because it's going to be one of those fights. This Hogger's been spinning a while. We do see Fascia coming out. Icewall does manage to hit the Asmodan. That's in the sleep. Sylvanas now May gets in, manages to boop Lucid with the slow damage. Now I just Fizz comes in, pulls the Sylvanas back in. Twilight Dream manages to hit both Sylvanas and the Hogger. Hogger now does have spin back up. Is getting a lot of damage out. Yona's actually doing a reasonable amount. Hogger misses his Q, will go down next. I just Fizz getting low as well as Traxxas. I'm going to actually zoom back out. However, that is the Anubrak going down. Traxxas gets the Blizzard slow onto Tone Phone. Tone Phone being slowly chased down. The tongue hits them. Thank you to that slow, making it easier, and that is Tone Phone going down on the Brightwing. That was still 12 shots over to the 12 shots were shot by this side of small potatoes. This is now a desperate situation almost for the side of Gen.M Esports. Oh, I'm yawning, so sorry. As we do see the team taking down that mid fort. Dahaka is just getting this camp. I'm actually going to check. Did Dahaka go one who collects? No, they went Hero Stalker, so will not be the best camper, but can still do it, especially with that late game scaling. Okay, Exerted does scout out that the team of Gen.M is doing this camp, however cannot do much about it at a given point in time. I do like doing this camp first, as it was the more aggressive of the 2 camps, so they should be able to cap this relatively quickly. Gotta quickly pull up some numbers while we wait for action to reoccur. We do see that very good tanking by both Anubrak and May. Anubrak taking a bit more, but May has also... Actually, no, I was about to say something. Yeah, Anubrak has also died a bit more. In terms of healing, we do see that Malfuri and Ufa are very close to each other, while Brightwing is a bit ahead. That will be this mid-fort, bottom fort being taken back by the side of Gen.M. However, we do see once again Asmodan running it down. top was ran down. No matter what happens, Gen.M can't seem to hold on to a fort for all that long. Well, I think they're keeps at this point. Yeah, a keep for all that long. Gen.M now in an awkward position where they will be late to this altar phase, and or they cannot afford to give up both altars. They need one to stay in the game due to how many shots will be going to core otherwise. That double stun is a bit too close by Patience, however, Shinmeister wasn't able to get out isolation hits too. That is the AoE isolation from Dahaka. Excellent stun by Inner Fox as they use that Twilight Dream upgrade to teleport in. Patience getting lower, that will be them going down soon. May pops up last block, that is Patience going down, that is the most ideal candidate to go down, and we do see it is the respawn redemption on them, so they will be back up soon. However, that is two free falling for the side of Gen.M. Ufa only just came up now, that is the May going down, Ufa going down once again. D-Shield did go out on the Vala, however, Vala will not be able to step back into Chip Loafers, and that will be the game going over to the side of Small Potatoes, as that means we will be going to a map 3, I believe. Yes. Right, to briefly look at some stats. Right Wing eventually pulled ahead of both the blue healers of Gen.M Esports quite well, but of course there is only so much that each healer can heal, as there is a bit of overlap with how they want to do it. I was expecting Mafia was in front and Ufa was not too far behind. In terms of comps, I did actually prefer. As much as I do like the comp from Gen.M, I haven't changed screens, whoopsie. I do like the idea of hypercarry character. I'm wondering whether it was the most appropriate build for that hypercarry character. Vala can do it, do not get me wrong. But Vala needs now a lot of scaling to do it, and 80 is a lot of fire at will. However, with the nerfs, it isn't quite as strong. So all in all, even just looking at it, I think I would have had to give over slightly to the side of Small Potatoes, as they knew they had an excellent macro sense between Asmo and Sylvanas being able to do a lot of siege damage, and we just saw it paying off as when they were getting 5 or 6 shots per altar channeled, we only saw about 2 to 3, maybe 4 at the most, from the side of Gen.M Esports. But that is really all I have to say about the comps and the numbers and such. I'm going to briefly show talents for people who want to see it. Here you go, here's a lovely talent board. Interesting things to note is the Traitor King. Do not see this one as much, you see Rewind far more. However, it worked out, so I'm not one to judge. Things I do have to, there are a couple of things I have to question. I wonder if a Fire at Will quest was the best for Vala. I wonder if Creed of a Hunter would have been better. That was typically what was run when you had a... that auto attack build was typically run when you had a Shield Tassadar. However, the character in that form is now gone. I will miss him. And the other thing is Uther going full heal build. I wonder if it was necessary, considering that there was already the Malfurion for sustained healing. I agree with the Divine Shield, but I'm just wondering whether that level 1 was the best level 1 for the situation. Anyway, that is all for my comments, as I do not play much of the other heroes. I want to try, like, understand what's happening more and try break down comps a bit more. So I may be wrong with what I'm saying entirely, but hey, it's some way to learn, and I'm always happy to hear someone come into chat and go, "You're wrong, and here's why." I like learning about the game, and that'd be interesting to me. Right, for the moment, I'll actually toss it over to a quick break so I can get some water, set up the next map, and we should be good to go. See you in just a few moments. And we are back. As you can see, the map is Tomb of the Spider Queen. And as you can hear, the battle commences in 10 seconds, so let's switch it over. On the left-hand side of Gen.M Esports, we see Patience on the Snookov, Infofox on Greymane, Yonas on Gul'dan, Tax 1K on the Joanna, and I just fizzed on Leoric. On the right-hand side of Small Potatoes, we have Lucid on ETC, Chimp is back again on that Hogger, Shinmeister on Tychus, Tone Phone on the Morales, and Exerted on the Nazebo. And all I have to say to that is, I just fizzed, taking a decent amount of damage to start off with. The Shinmeister activating minigun, but actually losing half their health already. Excellent side by the ETC, hitting Joanna. However, that is the first wave that is cleared by Gen.M Esports. And actually, ooh, that Shinmeister was very close to going down there. Morales, one of the best healers for that single target healing, and actually barely kept him in it. Tax 1K stepping up to get the gems necessary on this map. This map is all about momentum, as well as being able to get the gems from those spider butts. But right, we do see this macro advantage is being slowly taken by the side of Gen.M, as they're already on that next wave. We do see a 1-1-1 now, while these two, Infofox and Patience, getting this objective this camp very early on, trying to get out as quick as possible. I do have to wonder whether Small Potatoes is questioning where everyone is. We do see a on the way ping happening. I wonder who that was from. Hogger is getting very aggressive. And for Fox, that may have been a vital error, but was not. Patience hitting Chimplover having to spin out. Leoric is trying his hardest not to leash this camp, and he wants some ally help very soon. Chimplovers, what are you thinking? Goes in, hits the slide, is actually going down slow to the creepy hand. Greymane uses roll, does have that human form up, but doesn't quite have the damage to finish off the Hogger. Very unfortunate. Meanwhile, we do see these camps now clashing in the mid lane. Excellent slide from Lucid going on to Tax 1K. Spiders hitting onto Yonas, and I haven't even looked at what the talents are at level 1. It could be just think of a deep build for all I know, but it's probably Spiders. It seems to always be Spiders, so let's have a look. Oh wow! It's Spiders, what a surprise! Not really. It's been very good recently and is still performing well compared to the other talents. I will always be a fan of Think of a Deep. I just got very low there, but Spiders has currently seemed to be the way to go. For other question talents, we have Corruption at level 1 for Gul'dan, Lord's Hope Joanna, and at level 4 we see End of a Rhythm for Tiger, so the more he was able to minigun people, the longer that minigun will go off. Otherwise, things are looking relatively standard from my knowledge, maybe, sorta, kinda. At least this was a build we used from Hogger last time, so I'm going to assume that's standard now, as I think I've seen it 3 times in a row. ETC going that physical armor talent at level 1 instead of the Globe Healer quest. I do actually like it, especially into someone like Greymane. Greymane doing a lot of physical damage, and that armor, even 1 or 2 hits of the armor, will help defend a lot. Bigger W from ETC as well. We just see Lieutenant Morales. I don't see Lieutenant Morales much anymore, so if I blank on the name, I think I may be excused from that. There'll likely be someone going, no, you are not excused, never. So yeah, otherwise, Leoric, I use this build. I've seen people use this build. I don't see in Stage 4 as much anymore from a Greymane, but I do. Did you know this altar has health? The more you know. Anyway, sorry about my interesting camera work. Tax 1K does go out of the Lucid, does get it condemned off. I'm apparently targeting a ranged minion, which will go down to the poison from the Zebra. And Zebra trying to get the Spider quest off is there. Only 6 away. 1 good jar will get that done. However, probably shouldn't be too greedy. You still do have targets to hit. And you know, the Spiders could just eventually go along to the heroes anyway. And for Fox, just pressuring that Shinmeister. Neither person has any heals nearby. Excellent slide by ETC hitting 2. Shinmeister does step up to try pressure out the blue team. Trax 1K doesn't really take much damage throughout the engage because of that Iron Skin. And that will be Spiders being complete now by Nazebo. That coming in at a perfect time. We do see now that, can't remember what it does. Spiders are stronger and last longer. That's pretty simple. But that is all I know is a dead Grey main as we see the spot. Nope, we do see the burst from Patience as the biokill switch. I believe that then should be the vigorous reuptick. Indeed. We do see a very close to full heal Stukov. We don't quite, as we do see growing infestation. Not really anything to do with healing or resetting the cooldown of bio kill switch, but it still does a lot over time. Will do a lot of extra damage and CC over time. Something that looks like the comp of Gen.M Esports wants with the Joanna and that Stukov. Also the Leoric and Tomb. Something to keep in mind for later if they do indeed go that route. However, that is now turning over to the red team of Small Potatoes. That was a clunky sentence, but here comes the clunky big spiders. Let push down. Tiger standing still, holding his ground, pushing out that minigun damage, getting his stacks up further and further. Leoric playing, interestingly, just dancing between the two lanes, getting double soak while all this was happening up here. All this fight was happening up here, I should say. We do see the first web quiver being cleared by... Oh dear. I'm going to imagine those were the spiders. Spiders do a lot of damage, as I said, and the Zebo has to be respected now. Even in the early game, he has to be respected now, and we do see body blocking coming out from Lucid and Exerted, trying their best to keep Tax 1K in for the Schendemeister to melt them down, whoever doesn't quite do enough. Spiders going out in the building, we do see... Just look at that. That's ridiculous, in my opinion. We do see now damage slowly coming out more and more, that will be all web weavers down. No forts lost. And there's no hand and also on the side of Small Potatoes. Gen.M currently holding all resources. Hogger has been found out. I just fizzed missed his bucket, so I don't think he's able to contest that now. Nope, they choose just to leave. Wise. I don't want to deal with this infinitely spinning Hogger. Why should they? We just see Commander Odin coming out from the Tychus just to look at other things. Stim drone from the Morales. Gargantuan from the Zebra, so again looking at that macro playstyle. Mosh. That is a fast Odin. Go, 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 go. Odin shooting. But yeah, there's Odin shooting very quickly. My word. We also see Hortopop from Hogger, who spins out instead. Curseball missed from Greymane, actually. That was all the ult said from the side of Small Potatoes. But as I said, Greymane went Curse Bullet. We see Horrify from Gul'dan. Blessed Shield from Joanna. Entomb from Leoric, like I imagined. And Curse swipes from Stukov. And actually, Stukov will take down the Tychus with that auto attack, the beefiest auto attack in the game. Also, probably one of the most satisfying auto attack sounds in the game, in my opinion. Curse Bullet doesn't miss this time as it hits Lucid for 35% of his health. We got Patience being very annoying over here. Just that silence, the zoning as I like to call it, where you just hold it out forever and just keep going. What you gonna do? Move into this area? No, you're not using abilities here. We do see actually half of this structure going down, and that is all web weavers down. And outside of this fort going down, pretty comparable damage for the most part between the two phases. Which, I don't know if that was a good second web weaver considering... Wow, very exactly, even on gems. That's actually very impressive. You do typically see more buildings taken from the second web weaver. Web weaver? Web weaver. However, considering that Small Potatoes are in the lead in terms of structures, it is still really anyone's game. That is Morales getting hit by the... I just fizz. Entomb, however, Lucid gets a very good... Mosh is cancelled earlier, looks... Shimploaf is feared back in, however, will use the Hortopop to get out. Gul'dan did get corruption off during that time. Schendemeister pushing up, trying to get that extra, squeeze that extra damage out. Seeing if it could do really anything, however, we do see again another case of a lot of buttons pushed, not much happening. We do see now that both teams do have hand in, so we're going to have the good old dance and sing. However, that will actually be Blue getting the web weavers down before that could even occur. Wonder how this phase is going to go out from the side of Gen.M Esports. Getting warning pings coming out onto Tax 1K. Tax 1K does get slid, getting hit by the spiders for a decent amount. Dropping down to a third health, but using Laws of Hope to get back up to that full and tapping from mana. Okay. I just Fizz going in. We do see that extended Wraith Walk by the looks of it. That is an 2-1 exerted. Exerted. Not anywhere to go. Goes down very quick. Isn't even able to drop anything as the silence was in the Entomb. Stukov using that flailing swipe. Yeah, flailing swipe, but no one's down. And actually, we see the virulent reaction. So the normal 13 of if they're able to slow and hit someone with that silence puddle, they will go down. Well, actually, they will just be rooted, but very likely go down. So we have an extra CC block. As I said, Wraith Walk build on the Auric. Something that has been seeing less and less because it doesn't have the damage that the other builds have, but it does have a lot of utility, especially in this instance. Okay, we have movement speed, okay. Everything else is looking relatively sound. We don't see Encore, which is probably the most interesting thing. We see Mike check instead. I am curious about that talent. I wonder why not Encore. Mike check is actually just a really good peel tool, and actually was a thing I used a lot before Encore was made what it was, as more moshes are good moshes. If I could say any wisdom, albeit it is the dumbest wisdom you'll ever hear in your life, don't worry. Just gonna follow around the teams, just gonna show off some stats real quick. We do have pretty even numbers of tanking in terms of the tanks, both taking reasonable amount of damage. Can't see healing at the moment, hero damage being equal. Actually, we do have fight coming out. I just was zoning out Chimp Loafers, not really losing any health, but not really much gain either. And we're now just going to have this, what I like to call the eternal dance of the spider butts, as teams may will just eventually just run between these two areas and just try to turn in. Because no one wants to be the person to die with, I don't know, just for another 36 gems. Actually, we see Chip Loafers going on Patience, does get hit by that Curse Bullet, and then that Horrify will be losing those. Will be going down first, maybe, yep, that's a very unfortunate spin, as has now 36 gems behind the enemy lines, as ETC soon to follow, again losing a fair bit more. Tone Phone getting run down as well as Exerted. We don't see any ults to keep him in, and that actually is the Morales going down. Exerted trying their best to do anything, but that will be that fight. Only the damage surviving on the side of Small Potatoes, but that is the majority of their gems gone. They went from what looked like 70, 80 something maybe, to only 35. That's not what you want to see happen. That is not what you want to have happen to you. So we should see where we go from here. And it looks like where we're going from here is boss. That was probably the smoothest segue I'll ever have in terms of my words. Anyway, just, yeah, boss is happening. We're going to leave it here and just pull this up, showing you there's been 5 kills from the side of each side. Look at some APM numbers. Excellent. I don't know what half these buttons do, I'm going to be honest. I'm just going to go. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yep. Right on. Showing talents once again as 16s have come through from both sides now. Grenade comes out early at the end of the Sand Golem. And we do see that Gen.M Esports wants to get at least some pressure on with this. Oh, we were thinking about some pressure on with this, but however changed their mind. Chip Loafers wasn't quite caught out. Very lucky to get out as Tax 1K was not quite with the team yet. But we do see this bottom camp being taken. This Bruiser camp, I should say, being taken. This bottom camp is all the way down here, which does respawn in 30 seconds, I will note. And that will be another fort just torn apart. Thank you to the full strength of... Yeah, the full strength of Gen.M Esports. Actually, I want to check that. The Zebo is fully stacked. That will be very interesting to see where this goes once if this hits 20s. Other things to note is we do see full Wraith Walk, Build Online, Corruption, Eagle Wolf from Greymane. Interesting, we don't see as much anymore, but it should be good. Loser gets an excellent double stun, does have Mosh up, so that is something that Gen.M Esports may know is off cooldown, but may not know if it will be used shortly. Only time will tell if that Mosh comes out soon, late, or is even effective. Greymane ripping Partner's camp. Just going to point it out, we do have a 5v4 situation up. 4v5 situation, I don't know which way to put it. Small Potatoes have 5. Gen.M have 4. That's how math work. Chip Loaf has been cancelled from doing it. We just have iJustFizz going into the back line, making sure damage is reduced. We did hear Tychus use his minigun there for a brief moment, so that will be able to see damage down. And that is actually Exerted going down first. That's a very unfortunate right kill. Good there onto Lucid. Lucid will be the next to go down as that root combo is hit by Stukov. Shinmeister doing their best to pressure iJustFizz. Chip Loafer does have to use... iJustFizz used a lot to keep out Shinmeister, and Chip Loafers did have to use the Hoarder Pult to get out of danger. And that actually looks like it is yet another turn-in, and a lot of pressure will be continued to pile on here for Gen.M Esports onto small potatoes. That was one of the weirder ways I've said potatoes, I'm going to be honest. At least I'm not the person who says potato. I am curious. There is that phrase, potato, potato, tomato, tomato. Whatever way around it is. I don't think I've ever heard anyone say potato. Just random thoughts with line bus. Not any coherent ones or good ones, but they're random. We do see the Web Weavers land, however this will be noted pretty quick as that was a Syndrome Tychus hitting it. And we do see 20s actually come over to the side of Gen.M Esports as we see the... I need to open this up. Controlled Chaos from the Stukov, buried alive from Leoric. Blinded by the light from Joanna, I believe? Woo! Remembered it. I've accidentally clicked something else, this can die. That is an ETC silence, actually double silence on them, and that will be ETC going down. I just want to click on this building then if that's going down next. We do see Horrify and the Hunter's Blunderbuss out. There's Hogan going down next, and that looks like it is now a core call. Oh, it's a bit of a mixed call. Actually, Tychus does get forced in by that Horrify, by that Haunt, I should say. There's Lucid calling GG as this call will slowly start falling. There is not much that a Nazebo and a Morales can do in terms of a lot of damage through about 5 people's health bars, but they can certainly try. They're getting a bit of a distraction. However, even a little bit of distraction is not enough as the score is falling to the Stukov. That will be a GG with the final game going over to Gen.M Esports as they secure the series. Right, I shall change the screen to this one. Boop. And open this. My word, that Stukov healing... I'm a fan of Stukov, I will be honest. I just am a fan of a lot of healers in general. Stukov did a lot of healing this game that just... He is in a very happy state right now, a comfortable state right now, as some would say, that he is probably one of the better healers in terms of pure healing the LI team, as well as bringing that silent circle. And that did seem to stifle some of Small Potato's plans with things such as the Mosh or the Nazebo, or just in general being a good disruption in the middle of a fight. All in all, we did see the Gul'dan and Greymane work quite well together. Greymane does have that good initial burst, while Gul'dan does have the corruption damage that will eventually corrode someone down, which is very unfortunate for any person really caught by it. So I'm just going to do this before I forget. I do like Nazebo here. This is known as one of Nazebo's better maps. Nazebo did try. They were actually stacked up if we do look at this 208, but they did not hit the 20, and that 20 is, even with Naz in their current state, that 20 is still one of the biggest power spikes in the game if it is gotten off. All in all, I liked both comps here. Both had a very similar, we can blow up. We do have that damage that we can get out of Greymane and Tychus, both very hard-hitting auto attackers, and Gul'dan and Nazebo actually still very hard-hitting mages. I know Naz is technically, some people go, oh, he's a specialist, he's a mage now. There's no specialists in this game anymore. You're just going to have to reminisce over the old days. But yeah, I liked both comps a lot. However, it was just slightly better executed from the side of Gen.M. Quickly look at talents for anyone who is interested in them. We did see Tigers got up to 101 stacks of minigun. Impressive. That is, I believe, 3 seconds. Yeah, 3 extra seconds of minigun, which is a long time, to put it lightly. The Zebo 28 Vial Infection Voodoo Ritual stacks, as it is called. Pretty impressive. Gul'dan got their quest off. Spider's quest was done. The only thing to note was Joanna got to 44 stacks of that Laws of Hope. So that is a extra 20% healing of 20. So that's a 40% healing bonus that Joanna gets whenever she pushes that button. However, in the end, actually it didn't matter in the end. Joanna did survive quite a few fights from it. By the look of it, she stayed very healthy, probably giving her Stukov a little less of a heart attack. However, that will be the series going over to the side of Gen.M, as I had said. Right, let me just swap it back to this. And all I have to say is, anyone who watched tonight, thank you, Majesty, for they're one of two comments. I very much appreciate it. It was a lovely series to cast. I want to thank both the teams for I also want to play both the teams for letting me cast, but I just kind of went, okay, who hasn't been cast in a while? One of these teams. So here we are. But I want to wish everyone a good afternoon / evening / morning, depending where you live. And in my final remark, I am going to try standardize saying, I will see you all in the Nexus.